This is one of our favorite books. It's called Honest Andrew, and I've been wanting to read it for a while, so here's my attempt. Honest Andrew by Gloria Skorlinski or something like that. Here we go. Andrew Otter sat down at the table with his mama and his papa inside their family den. "What's for dinner?" he asked. "I'm starved." "Tonight we're having crayfish," his mama told him. "Eat everything on your plate, so you'll grow up to be a big, strong otter like Papa." See, there they are. Andrew moaned to himself. He hated crayfish, but he didn't want to hurt his mama's feelings. He knew how hard she had worked over her special dish. "This is really good," Andrew's papa said, crunching the crayfish. "Isn't this good, Andrew?" Uh-huh. Andrew chewed hard and tried to swallow. He really tried, but his throat wouldn't open up. "I'll have a second helping," Papa Otter said. "Here, have some more, Andrew." He piled more crayfish on Andrew's plate. Oh dear. Andrew kept chewing, but the food just wouldn't go down. Instead, it pushed itself into his cheeks. He took more bites and chewed again, not swallowing any of it. More and more food got squished inside his cheeks until they puffed up like two balloons. "Now you may have dessert," Mama Otter said, placing a dish of strawberry ice in front of Andrew. Andrew loved strawberry ice. But how could he eat his dessert when his mouth was full of crayfish? "Excuse me," he mumbled. "I have to go outside." "Why?" his papa asked. His mama also asked, "Why?" "Because I want to smell the sweet petunias," Andrew tried to say, but his mouth was so full that his words sounded like, "Smell the sweet potato." On the last word, he nearly blew out both cheekfuls of mashed up crayfish. Andrew hurried through the long tunnel that opened into the river bank. When he reached the bank, he took a deep breath and he spit his food out far into the water. Andrew turned to see his papa standing behind him. Uh-oh. There's Papa Otter. "What do you think you're doing?" his papa asked. I was just baiting the fish traps," Andrew stammered. "You're not telling the truth, Andrew. I followed you. You had your whole dinner in your mouth, and you spit it into the river. Why did you do that?" "Because I hate crayfish," Andrew cried. "Well, why didn't you say so?" "I didn't want to hurt Mama's feelings. And you would have made me eat it anyway, wouldn't you?" "I suppose so," Papa Otter said. "But I wouldn't have given you more. What you did wasn't honest, Andrew. And then you lied about it. Come with me." He took Andrew by the ear. "You and I are going to have a talk about honesty." Papa Otter marched Andrew back down this tunnel into his study. "Andrew, do you see that sign on the wall?" he asked. "Can you read the words?" "Not all of them," Andrew answered. "Well, it says, 'An otter ought to be honest.' That's been the otter motto for as long as anyone can remember. We otters are famous for being honest and truthful. Why, once upon a time, an otter walked 4 miles to return a fish that another otter had dropped beside a stream. And then there was a younger otter, not much older than you, who dug a big hole in his father's favorite mudslide. The slide was quite spoiled, What happened to the little otter? Andrew wondered. When his father asked, "Who spoiled my slide?" the otter cub stood right up and said, "I did it, father. I cannot tell a lie." Did he get a spanking? No, he didn't, Andrew's papa replied. His father was so proud of his cub for speaking the truth that he didn't punish him. You see, Andrew, we otters value honesty above all else. If you want to make Papa proud, you must be honest and truthful. I will, Papa, Andrew promised. From now on, I'll always tell the truth. Good boy. Andrew's papa smiled so that his mustache turned up. The next day, while Andrew was sitting on the riverbank thinking about honesty, his mother called to him. "Do you want to go to the store with me?" she asked. It was easy to be truthful about that. "Yes, I'd like to go," he replied. In a little while, Andrew and Mama Otter were walking along the forest path. It was a lovely day, and a lot of other creatures strolled through the forest. Coming toward them on the path was a stooped, squinty-eyed animal wearing glasses. "That's Professor Newton Beaver," Andrew's mama told him. "He is a well-known scholar. Be polite to him, Andrew." "Yes, Mama." "How do you do, Professor Beaver?" Mama Otter said. "How do you do, madam?" The professor nodded. "And is this your little son?" "How are you, young man?" Andrew thought hard. He remembered his promise to be honest. "Well," he began, "I have this cut on my back paw. I got it last week when I was playing tag on the riverbank. A thorn scratched me, and my nose hurts. See right there? An eel bit me while I was swimming in the river. I think it was last Thursday, but it might have been Wednesday. No, it was probably Thursday. I'm pretty sure. Then last night, I felt bad because my papa got mad at me. The reason why he got mad was that we were having crayfish for dinner, and I..." The smile on Professor Beaver's face had grown stiff. His eyes looked funny. They seemed to be moving from one to... They seemed to be moving away from each other. Fine boy, he muttered, patting Andrew on the head and hurrying off down the path. "Andrew, why do you talk so much?" his mama said. "He asked me how I was, and I wanted to tell him the truth." Mama Otter sighed. "Look, Aunt Prissy Porcupine is coming towards us. She's very fussy about manners. If she asks you how you are, don't go on and on. Just say, 'Fine, thank you.'" "But, Mama..." "Andrew," she gave him a warning look and smiled to greet Aunt Prissy Porcupine. "Hello, Aunt Prissy. I haven't seen you in a long time." "My dear," Aunt Prissy held her cheek forward to be kissed. "And this is Andrew? I do declare. I can't believe how much he's grown. Why, you're quite a big otter, Andrew." "That's not the truth. I am not a big otter," Andrew said loudly. "I don't go up any higher than my mama's front paws." "Ooh!" Aunt Prissy bristled until her quills stuck out like in angry points. "Did you hear what that cub said to me? Why, in my day, if a little tyke sassed his elders like that..." Andrew's mama pulled his paw so hard his arm hurt. "Excuse us, Aunt Prissy," she said through her teeth. "We're in a bit of a hurry." Andrew wondered why his mama was glaring so angrily at him. Before she had the chance to tell him, Miss Hazel Woodchuck came into sight, pushing a baby buggy. "Yoo-hoo, Mrs. Otter," Mrs. Woodchuck called out. "I want you to meet the newest child in my family. This is my daughter, Piney Sue." Andrew watched a strange changes in his mama's face. Her scowl smoothed out to make room for a polite smile. "What a beautiful baby," Andrew's mama said, chuckling the little woodchuck under the chin. "Isn't she darling?" Andrew stood on tiptoe to see inside the buggy. "Darling? She's ugly," he said. "Her face is all wrinkled. She looks like she slid face down on a mudslide." "Andrew!" His mama yanked his paw so hard that his feet fell from off the ground. She turned him toward home, pulling him so fast that when his feet did touch the ground, he had to run to keep up. "I've never been so embarrassed," Mama Otter shouted. "Just wait till I get you home, young man." "I was only being honest, Mama. That baby isn't pretty at all." "Not another word out of you. When your papa hears about this, I don't know what he'll do to you." Andrew wanted to tell her he'd only been speaking honestly and truthfully, just as he had promised. He wanted to ask if they couldn't please go on to the store where he had hoped to get a strawberry ice, but the look on his mom's face told him he'd better keep quiet. He spent the rest of the day sitting on a chair facing the wall. When his papa came home, Andrew could hear his mama telling Papa Otter all about the things he said to Professor Beaver, to Aunt Prissy Porcupine, and to Mrs. Woodchuck. Andrew's papa cleared his throat a couple of times, quite loudly, and then called Andrew to him. "Why were you so rude today?" he asked. "I was just trying to make you proud of me," Andrew explained. "Proud of you? You bored Professor Beaver. You insulted Aunt Prissy. You hurt Mrs. Woodchuck. Don't you know it's wrong to say unkind things?" "Then I shouldn't be honest and truthful?" Andrew asked. "Of course you should, but you mustn't hurt people's feelings." "Last night I was trying not to hurt Mama's feelings, and when I really hated crayfish," Andrew said. "You got mad at me then because I didn't tell the truth." His voice choked with tears. "That was his papa sputtered. "That was, uh, that was, oh, Papa Otter's shoulders drooped. His mustache drooped. He looked so bewildered that Andrew felt sorry for him. Andrew was silent for a moment, then he touched his papa's shoulder. "Papa," he said, "is this what I should do? Should I always tell the truth, but be as nice and polite as I can?" "Yes, that's it. That is exactly what you should do." Andrew's papa sighed a big sigh of relief. He smiled so widely that his mustache curled. "Well, Andrew, I'm glad we got this straightened out," he said. "Now let's find out what's for dinner. I'm starved." "Tonight we're having salamander stew," Mama Otter called out. Andrew slumped down on his chair. "Mama," he said, "you're the sweetest, nicest mama in the whole world. Your eyes are big and bright. Your fur is warm and soft. You wear pretty earrings. And I hate salamander stew."